Hello everyone, this is Vanessa and Bridget from EILGIVE. Thanks for joining our webinar today on Tuesday, November 7th. Before we dive into today's content, there are a couple of housekeeping notes. Everybody's phone lines are muted to keep the background noise to a minimum. We do welcome your questions though. Please take a moment to locate the chat box. Mine is in the lower left corner of my screen. Please type any questions you have throughout the webinar and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. Also, we are recording this webinar and the link will appear on EILGIVE.com in a few days. With that, let's get started. So just some general updates before we dive into the content. Just a friendly reminder, please enter your bank account, organization information, and check that stake, check the stake fundraising compliance checkbox in order to collect donations. It's been a long day. These are the things that we require in order for you to be donatable on EILGIVE for Giving Tuesday. So we want to make sure that you're fully prepared to accept those donations. If you've not entered this information in yet, please do so as soon as you possibly can. Sometimes it can take 2 to 4 days for this information to resolve and go through the compliance checks. So we want to make sure that you're ready well ahead of the day. If you have any questions, please reach out to EILGIVE through that little blue chat bubble that follows you around the website. We're happy to help you through any questions you may have or any difficulties that you're encountering. Also, get those profiles customized. We do find that customized profiles receive far more donations. And when we say customized, we mean a number of different things. First, it's unique and engaging, and it has your profile images filled out. So that logo and that cover photo that are on there, make sure that you get rid of that sun rising picture and have something in there that connects to the mission and the statement that you're conveying for your EILGIVE campaign. Also, fill out those suggested donation amounts. It's a great way to continue to tell your story, and we'll hit on that during our webinar today. But this is a really great way to convey to prospective donors the impact that they're having on your organization and the role that they can play in making a difference. Also, tell a great story about the work that you do within your profile. So this is how you're going to be connecting with the donors and conveying to them what your goals are for the day and the different things that you touch upon that in the work that you do. So this is how you're going to connect to those prospective donors. So a great story, an authentic story is just a great way to communicate that. And lastly, a goal for your fundraising day is important to get energy and people rally behind your campaign for the day. It gives them a goal to follow, and it's a great way to add more focus to your campaign. So if you are interested in any of these topics and maybe have some more questions, we do have some great training resources on EILGIVE.com. And specifically, the Art of Your EILGIVE profile is a great webinar to watch to get inspiration around making your profile more robust and creative. So remember some of the EILGIVE 2016 stats. So of the top 50 organizations who participated in EILGIVE 2016, most of them had announced their campaign 2 to 4 weeks ahead of Giving Tuesday. We are 20 days out, so we want to make sure that we're in the process of announcing or planning on announcing soon if we have not done so already. Also, they posted an average of 10 Facebook posts and an average of 6 tweets. So make sure you're getting those Facebook and Twitter posts ready and planned out so you just fire those off as the day approaches and on the day of. They also sent 3 to 4 emails out on Giving Tuesday. So this is a great way to not only engage those donors, but keep them engaged throughout the day. So as you are approaching that goal, you can keep them updated in your success and maybe even rally them behind you to get to that final finish line towards the end of the day. We've also posted prizes to the EILGIVE.com site. So if you navigate there, you'll see a prize menu item in the upper menu space, and we do have six prizes. So we do recommend that you go and check those out. There's $13,000 in total prizes that range from social media prizes, peer-to-peer prizes, most unique donors. There's a prize specific to the small budget organizations, and a couple power hours in there as well. So check those out and see how your organization can strategize to get some of those prizes. And our 2016 numbers to beat, so last year we raised a little over $1 million, so $1,342,342, with 396 organizations and 6,920 donors. We currently have 827 organizations registered, and registration does close tonight at midnight. So if you are on the line, you have not registered your organization yet, please do so now. So we should be able to destroy those numbers this year. All right, with that, we'll jump into the meat and potatoes of the presentation. So we're going to review just some things. You don't have to necessarily do all of these things. These are really important themes to hit on within your profile. It's more or less a checklist. Have I done these things to prepare for I'll Give on Giving Tuesday? So things that we'll talk about include, have you set a goal? Have you told an authentic story within your profile? What kind of calls to action are you including in your outreach? Adding visuals to not only your profile, but to those donation tiers and your social media posts. Engaging those ambassadors and rallying your entire team around your campaign, and making sure that you not only have a plan, but that all of those people that are helping you with your campaign know what their roles and responsibilities are in the days leading up to and on the day of. And then last but certainly not least, we'll talk about creating a stewardship plan, making sure that when you get those new donors on I'll Give, that that's not the only time that they support you, and that you will be starting to, that's really just the beginning of your relationship with them.
So as Vanessa said, don't necessarily think of this as a checklist. You have to do every little thing, and if you're just starting or if you've already completed a lot of these steps, there really is still plenty of time, so don't feel stressed out that we're providing you this list of 10 things that you now have to do. Most of these things hopefully are already done, or things you've already thought about, and it's really just to help you go through this process, think about those really important aspects of your I'll Give campaign this year, so that by the end of this presentation and before November 28th on Giving Tuesday for I'll Give, you really have a campaign that you're super confident in and that you're really excited to share out with your potential supporters. So don't feel too overwhelmed. We really are here to help and make sure this process is as easy as possible for you all. All right, so the first step as you kind of go through this process, and with everything you do, is always to think about what your goals are. A lot of organizations do aim to have a monetary goal, whether that's more internal or external, but that's not the only goal you can set for I'll Give. You can have that monetary goal, or maybe you want to achieve a certain number of donors supporting your campaign on I'll Give. These are two different goals that require maybe some different strategies. That's why thinking about these goals ahead of time can be so important to the overall success of your campaign. Because just by tweaking little things here and there to really align your entire campaign to focus on that goal is going to make it a lot easier for your supporters. So you can focus on monetary amounts or donor amounts. Those are probably two of the most popular goals that we see on giving days. But you can also have campaigns focused on different goals, like new donors, or having donors who've given in the past to give again. Or maybe you're looking for monthly support. On EILGIVE.com, your donors will have the option to make their gift a monthly recurring donation. So if that's something you really want to focus on this year, maybe include that kind of language in your campaign. And then again, there are also always those internal goals, like board engagement, or getting peer-to-peer fundraisers to rally around your cause and help you raise more on I'll Give. Maybe you're looking to acquire more volunteers and get a stronger email list so that you can continue to ask for support from those passionate people. Or maybe you're looking to grow your social media following, get more people to share and like and engage with what content you're sharing on your social media pages. And then lastly, I would definitely take a look at those prizes on EILGIVE.com, especially with some of those power hours. There are lots of opportunities to strategize around those prizes to help you achieve these goals so that you can tie in to that monetary amount or that donor amount. So in everything you do going forward, or if your campaign is already ready to go, you've already started promoting it on social media, your profile is complete, maybe now look back and see, make sure everything aligns with the goal that you originally set, or that it's clear to someone who maybe hasn't looked at your profile yet what those goals are. Because if it's clear on all of those different places, on your profile, on your website, in your emails, in your social media posts, that means it's going to be a lot easier for that donor to follow through, support, and know that they're making a difference. And then once you've established those goals, that's when you're really going to want to focus on your story. And we talk about storytelling a lot with online fundraising and just fundraising in general, because it really has the power to impact potential donors and see how they can make a difference in a really tangible way. So some quick tips on making sure that your story is authentic is to focus on that specific person, program, or initiative that you may be raising money for, and really focus on how donors make that story possible. Because when a donor can put themselves in those shoes and see that by making a gift to your cause, they're able to create really human experiences, whether it's to a person or creating a program that's going to affect people in their community or on the environment in their community. Different things like that help them visually imagine how that gift is going to make a real difference. And a great way you can make that connection even quicker is to include photos, graphics, and maybe even key statistics within your story. So still focusing on those human elements, the person, the program, the initiative that you're raising money for, but complementing that with photos of that person or the program in action. Maybe you have specific statistics like how many people were served or how much you were able to do for a specific community, really highlighting those within your story so that it really is easy for your donors to take a look at your profile, even if it's only for a few seconds. Maybe you format it in a way so that it's really easy to see those bolded statistics, a photo right up at the top, and a clear call to action at the bottom. So that your donors can just scan that information and know exactly what they need to do to be compelled to give. And with online fundraising especially, people are going to take a little bit less time than they would, a major gift, because it's less of an investment. It's more of an emotional appeal. They're going to spend about the same time thinking about whether or not they should donate as they do deciding on what restaurant to go to for dinner. So you do want to keep this information really concise and really easy to follow on your EILGIVE profile. And then always make sure that those stories reflect your initial goals so that you're not confusing people when they see a post on social media saying you're looking for one thing and then going to your story and seeing something different, because that's not going to be a really cohesive campaign. It's going to just add an extra step that your donors don't necessarily need to have to go through. And then lastly, highlight the joy of giving, making sure your donors feel like the heroes that they are, celebrating them throughout the day and on your profile, pretty much everywhere before and on EILGIVE, letting them know that you wouldn't be able to make your mission possible without them. And a great way to do that is to really make sure that your calls to action leading up to and on EILGIVE are really clear. One of the most important calls to action that you'll probably be sharing out for EILGIVE is that unique link to your organization's EILGIVE profile. Now, any donor can come to EILGIVE.com and search for your organization there, but most of the time they're going to be led to your profile through that direct link that you're going to want to share with them. And you're going to want to share this link in your email appeals, on all of your social media posts leading up to and on the day, even before donations are live, maybe just making sure to include that in places so once your profile is ready to go, people have a place to go to learn more and know where they have to come back to on November 28th. You'll also want to make sure to swap this link out if you have a donate button on your website. Maybe just for November 28th, you switch out that link and swap it out with your EILGIVE profile so that no matter where donors are coming from, whether it's in an email or social media or your website, all of those donations get counted towards your EILGIVE totals. And keep in mind, only donations made through your EILGIVE profile will count towards those prizes, so that if that is something that you are looking to utilize, definitely think that through a little bit. And then lastly, when you're sharing things out in all those different places, making sure you're using really clear language like fundraise, donate, volunteer, and be specific to the audiences. So leading up to EILGIVE, your messaging might be a little different than it is on the actual day. You might be looking for people to share out your messaging or become a peer-to-peer fundraiser or volunteer. Different things like that can really make a difference leading up to the day, whereas on the day you might use different language like donate or come to our event, things like that that are going to be a little bit more specific. So as you develop your communications plan and as you start promoting your EILGIVE profile, really make sure to utilize those clear calls to action so that your donors, again, don't have to take too much time to know exactly what they need to do to help you achieve those goals you establish. Next, and a great way to kind of highlight those other elements of your profile is to feature that visual content. And you can do this in a couple ways. On your EILGIVE profile, you can really highlight your mission in action through story, photos, infographics, all of that great stuff that you can add to the Tell Your Story section. That's where you can really have the most fun, the most customizations. But I think one of the most important elements of your EILGIVE profile is really that cover photo, because that's one of the first photos that someone will see. It's really the star of your EILGIVE profile. It's the largest photo. It's front and center. So if you still have that sunshine photo on your profile, you want to log in and swap that out with something much more personal as soon as you can, because that's really going to captivate your mission, your brand, and make sure donors can connect with those photos. You can also add photos to those donation levels, which I would really recommend, especially if you are creating more unique donation level amounts. Because those donation levels can really motivate a donor to give maybe what they weren't initially thinking about giving. So if you have a donation level, and it can be as specific as $15.10 buys one book. As a donor, I might have only initially thought, okay, I'll give. I always support this organization. I'm going to give $10 on Giving Tuesday. But when I visit your profile, I see that for just $5.10 more, I can actually buy a book for someone. I'm much more likely to up my initial gift amount, donate what I see on that donation level, especially if there's a picture of a book or a picture of someone holding a book, because then I can actually visually see what my gift is buying in a way. So if that's something you're utilizing, I would definitely recommend adding those photos, adding those unique descriptions, so that your donors are much more likely to connect to those amounts and see their gift have a difference in real time. And then you can also add an embeddable video to your profile. All you have to do is copy a YouTube or Vimeo link where your video is hosted right into your Giving Day dashboard, and then you'll also be able to feature that on your Giving Day profile. And keep in mind, your profile isn't the only place you'll want to be featuring that visual content. You do want to include those same consistent visuals across all of your digital platforms. So on your website, on all of your social media accounts, making sure that it is all consistent so that regardless of where a donor is coming in from, whether it's an email or a website or a social media page, or if they're seeing that content multiple times leading up to EILGIVE, they're much more likely to make a connection on November 28th because they can recognize that same branding, that same consistent storytelling through your images. So keeping that consistent, maybe including the EILGIVE logo in a lot of the content that you're sharing out, which you can download in your nonprofit toolkit. There are tons of EILGIVE graphics for you to utilize. Make sure you're sharing those out prior to the day because, again, that's visual content that's going to connect with your supporters and help them remember that EILGIVE is on November 28th and that your organization is participating. So you can also do that in all of your communications. I like to add a little Giving Day logo to my email signature with a link to the profile so that in all emails I send out leading up to the day, everyone will see that I'm participating and that they can support me that way. Because you'd be surprised how many people actually look at your email signature.
Yeah, right. Located right in your nonprofit toolkit, there's also the downloadable goodie section where you find all of those logos. And another cool thing that's in there is the Unselfie toolkit, and so that has a little poster that you can print out and that says "I gave because," and people can hold up the sign and write why they supported your organization. So as you're collecting donations throughout the day, if you're having any in-person events, or encouraging your supporters to even print that out themselves and take a picture, it's just a really great way to spread the word that you're participating and have your supporters leverage their networks as well to broadcast that you're participating in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that now, because a lot of us have smartphones, you don't need a photographer to have a lot of great photos or to be able to have content to share out. So if you have someone with a smartphone that has a camera on it, you can create really easy, engaging content both leading up to and all give, even if it's just photos of your office staff holding up a thank you sign or writing why they are passionate about your cause. That might not seem like a lot, but to people engaging with so much content on Giving Tuesday, seeing that is really going to help your organization stand out, because especially on social media, content with an image or visual actually does see increased engagement than posts that are just text-based. So make sure to include those visuals and everything you're sharing out leading up to and on All Give and on your profile as well. Next, you're going to want to think about your ambassadors. And your ambassadors are those who are really helping you take your All Give campaign to the next level. And ambassadors can help you in a multitude of ways. You can have social media ambassadors, which is a great way to leverage those who maybe have a really strong and robust network of connections via social media, whether it's a lot of Twitter followers or lots of connections on LinkedIn or lots of Facebook friends, or maybe they have their own Facebook page, they're a local celebrity or something like that, really utilizing their connections to help you spread the word about your All Give campaign. So all they really have to do is share out your content, say that they're supporting you. Again, lots of great resources in your nonprofit toolkit. There's even an I Gave badge that they can all swap out their profile pictures with that day, because that might not seem like a lot, but as someone living in Illinois and going on Facebook on Giving Tuesday, if more and more people are starting to swap out those cover photos and profile images and share those All Give graphics, that's going to reach so many more people just because they're going to recognize that branding. They're going to see, oh yeah, All Give, I remember that from last year. Like, I know what this is and I want to support it. So there's power in numbers. So definitely encourage everyone you know who's passionate about your cause to do that, because again, it only takes a few minutes to swap out your cover photo, and they can always change it back the next day. It's really a very simple thing that your supporters can do to help you leverage those resources. And then peer-to-peer fundraisers. If you have not considered utilizing peer-to-peer fundraisers for All Give, I would definitely encourage you to do so. Through our research from Giving Tuesday 2016, we found that organizations that utilize peer-to-peer fundraisers receive an average of 4 new donors per peer-to-peer fundraiser. So if you can find 5 people to rally around your cause on All Give and share out their personal fundraising page, that's about an average of 20 new donors per your organization. I also found that organizations who utilize peer-to-peer fundraising raise on average $1,500 more than organizations who did not. So it's a really powerful tool to leverage those passionate supporters, maybe those who are comfortable just sharing out a link to their profile page. Even if you have those folks who maybe in the past weren't really comfortable asking others for money, or fundraising is not really their strong suit, I think peer-to-peer fundraising is a great way to bridge that gap, because it really is all about telling their story, sharing out why they're passionate about your cause, why they're supporting you on All Give, and then adding a link to that fundraising page. So you'll see people who may not have ever heard about what your organization has done, or even knew that their friend or family member was so passionate about this cause. And it's a great way to expand your reach, those connections. And we have lots of resources specifically on peer-to-peer fundraising in your nonprofit toolkit, which you can find if you go to allgive.com. There's a link right up at that toolbar with all of those resources. There's even a training video specifically on peer-to-peer fundraising. And again, I would really encourage you, if you are interested in raising more and reaching a new network, and maybe you have a couple people already in mind who you can really leverage to utilize these tools, definitely think about adding those peer-to-peer fundraisers. And then, of course, identifying what that internal support is, whether it's your board members, your staff members, those folks who really work with your organization on a regular basis, making sure that they're on board with everything that you're doing so that you can all be on the same page leading up to and on EILGIVE. And a great way to do that is to arm them with that key campaign messaging and all of the content that you'll be sharing out, whether it's your own customized graphics and messages or the messages and graphics available in that nonprofit toolkit. So that's a great way to kind of let them know that they don't have to really do a lot. All they have to do is copy, paste, customize, and share, and they can really do a great deal of difference on your EILGIVE campaign. And also make sure to communicate what your goals are for the day. Include them in that campaign game plan so that you're all in this together, because that's going to make everything a whole lot easier, not just for you, but for those who are really wanting to help you achieve your goals on EILGIVE. So try to break this down into manageable responsibilities and really leverage the strength of your team and those ambassadors who are assisting you in this effort. Next is to really think about your communications plan, and every organization has a little bit different of a plan based on the supporters that you're reaching and how they typically like to be communicated with. But what I love about Giving Days is that you can actually break the rules of standard communication that you typically would see, where you can reach out to people multiple times a day. You can be posting on social media really regularly. Like Vanessa showed those stats in the beginning, people were sending about 3 to 4 emails on Giving Tuesday for EILGIVE, and those are the most successful fundraisers. So thinking about how you're going to plan ahead of EILGIVE. If you have not announced your participation in EILGIVE or shared a save the date, I would really recommend doing that. We're about 3 weeks out now, so now's the perfect time, if you have not done so already, to start sharing out those save the date graphics or including information in your newsletter or on your website about November 28th and how it's coming up. And then starting to kind of count down to that big day. So 3 weeks out is a great amount of time to really start ramping up those communications, accelerating your promotions, so that on the day of, people aren't surprised that you're participating. Because that's what we see the most from donors after we survey donors after Giving Days to see what their experience was like. And the number one thing we hear from donors is that they wish they had heard about it sooner. So making sure to let them know that you're participating ahead of the day so that on the day they're not just bombarded with lots of messages. But keep in mind that on that day you do want to send out a lot of messages via email, on social media, and keep people updated of your progress, because it is a 24-hour day. You have that sense of urgency. You've got a couple of those power hour prizes you can really push. Maybe you have a lower goal so that you can reach it halfway through the day and then celebrate it. And then announce your reach goal. I think that's a really great way to kind of continue your success throughout the 24-hour period and motivate your donors to give, especially during those times where maybe last year you didn't see a high volume in donations. Also making sure you're utilizing the channels that work best for your supporters. From social media, making sure that if you're using social media tools, you're using something where you have a stronger following. We typically see that Facebook is the most popular tool and where we see the most click-through rates of all the social media platforms. If you don't have a Facebook page, I would recommend definitely starting to establish your organization's presence on that platform, since it is the most popular. But if not, including that information on your organization's website and all of your email communications, even if they're not all EILGIVE specific, including things in your newsletters, in your bulletins, in your events calendar. All of those different places can really make a difference. And we do have some communications timelines. I think there's a 4-week timeline in there, which you can kind of adjust a little bit since we're 3 weeks out. But it's a great way to plan all of these communications, from announcing it to communicating your goals to after the day when you're going to want to celebrate your supporters and thank them for bringing you on EILGIVE. And again, lots of customized guides, graphics, templates, all in your nonprofit toolkit. I think there's enough emails and social media posts that you could really just copy, paste, customize, and have fun with it. It's there for you to play with and for your supporters to engage with after the fact. And as you start to really get ready for November 28th, that's when you're going to want to check in with your EILGIVE team, make sure that you're all on the same page and that your campaign is ready to go. So maybe have a meeting with your team, with all your ambassadors, your peer-to-peer fundraisers, or maybe it's just you and a few volunteers who are really spearheading this. And it doesn't even have to be an in-person meeting. This can all be done via an email if you're really short on time and resources. But just making sure to collect your thoughts before November 28th, providing those who are assisting you in reaching your goals with all of those helpful tools, communicating what your goals are, how your team can help you achieve those goals, whether it's liking and sharing things on social media, or thanking donors after they've made a donation, or sharing out peer-to-peer fundraising pages. Just making that as clear as possible before November 28th so that the day is as easy as possible for you and your team. Also making sure to point out where they can find those crucial campaign resources, from email templates to social media posts to those EILGIVE graphics, and making it really clear what each member of your team, what their role is and how they're going to help you be successful, whether it's leveraging social media, calling your donors from last year to remind them that EILGIVE is happening. All of those things are really important to making sure that your organization and your supporters are all on the same page. And of course, make it as fun as possible for everyone involved, whether it's having a war room on the big day, maybe you have lots of candy and coffee and snacks, or you order lunch for your team, or something to really celebrate all of the hard work that you and your team have put into this day, because we want you to enjoy November 28th. It's going to be so much fun. If you've participated in giving days in the past, you know that it really is a fun experience and unlike any other fundraising day of the year, because everyone is so excited, and you really do feel like you're a part of something so much bigger than yourself, which is a really exciting thing to do. So make sure to show your gratitude for those who are helping you achieve success, so that you can all continue this movement through EILGIVE community and upcoming EILGIVE campaigns in the future. And then before EILGIVE, really going through, and this is really what this presentation is all about, is making sure that you're confident in the campaign that you're sharing with your supporters. So reviewing your game plan and your profile. I always recommend sharing it out with someone who has not seen your profile yet. I always share it out with a friend or a family member to say, hey, if I send you this link, will you just kind of go through the process and let me know what you think? Because sometimes a fresh set of eyes is just what you need to find those pain points before November 28th, so you don't have to really worry about it on the day. Looking back at those goals that you set at the beginning, maybe you already have all of these things done. You already set your goals. Go back to the beginning and make sure, from beginning to end, it's really clear that that is the goal that you're trying to achieve. Because sometimes when we set our goals so far in advance, it's easy to forget what we were even trying to achieve once we get down the road to, finishing our profile or sending out emails or all of that good stuff. So really making sure that it's concise and exactly what you want it to be before you start sharing that out. And then finalizing all of those communications and making sure that they are clear and concise so that your supporters can follow through really easily and support you in the best way possible. Taking a look at all of your digital platforms, so your website, your social media pages, your email accounts, everywhere that you are talking about EILGIVE, making sure that it is consistent, that it aligns with those goals, that your branding is all together, so that regardless of where a donor is coming in to support you on EILGIVE, it really does all tie into that same campaign, and that regardless of where someone is viewing your profile from, that they still will get that same feeling after they donate and go through that process. So try going through that process as if you were a donor. Maybe send yourself a test email, click on the links, follow through, and go through all the way till the end of the donation process, so that you can see what it's like to go through that from beginning to end. Because I think that really is a great way to know before November 28th that, yes, this is exactly what I want my donors to experience, and I feel really confident in sharing this page out. And then, of course, thinking about November 28th, the big day, and making sure it's big enough. Having your team really ready to go on EILGIVE on November 28th, because it is such a fun event, a 24-hour event, which doesn't happen too often. Assigning roles for those who are assisting you so that you can really utilize your time and your resources in the best way possible. And, of course, playing to your team's strengths and your capacity. So if it's just you and a friend or family member talking it out before the day, making sure you both have a game plan of what you can absolutely do and what you just don't have time for, so that you can prioritize to have the best campaign possible. And don't forget on the big day, of course, you can break down those communication standards. So you can have lots of updates, especially on social media. You can have some pre-scheduled communications, maybe around specific times of day, utilizing those tools like Buffer or Hootsuite to pre-schedule some of those posts. Maybe if it's like a halfway point or as the day kicks off at midnight, maybe you don't want to stick around until midnight to kick off the day, so you can schedule things ahead of time. But then once you're all back in the office the next day, making sure to share out your progress, maybe thanking your donors on social media. It's a really fun way to engage with people on EILGIVE on November 28th. And then if you are hosting any in-person opportunities, maybe a happy hour or a volunteer opportunity, making sure to make that clear to your supporters how they can get involved and join you on the day. Don't forget to take pictures and videos if you are having an event using that hashtag EILGIVE, so you can be featured on the EILGIVE tag board on EILGIVE.com. And it just makes great content to highlight those supporters who are supporting you in person on the big day. And it really is, again, a really fun event for your entire team and your supporters. So celebrate it, have fun, and your supporters will appreciate that kind of camaraderie on the day, that ability to break down your typical day at the office, to talk about how everyone can make a difference for your organization on November 28th. And then lastly, really thinking about what happens after November 28th. I know right now we're so focused on Giving Tuesday and making sure we're ready to go that this may seem like something you can forget about until after the day, but I would really encourage everyone to think about how they're going to acknowledge and celebrate these EILGIVE donors before November 28th, so that on November 29th you're not scrambling to come up with a plan. Luckily, your EILGIVE profiles will automatically send those thank you messages to those who donate through EILGIVE.com immediately after they make a donation. And you can customize that message to include a photo, a video, your own text, so you will have immediacy taken away. But you do want to think about going to thank them on top of that initial thank you receipt, whether it's through social media posts to celebrate your success, give a progress update after you exceed your goals, or thanking everyone through an email after the fact. And that can be to all of your supporters. It doesn't even necessarily have to just be your EILGIVE supporters. Maybe on November 29th you already have an email plan to talk about what you were able to raise on the day and share that out with everyone, and let them know that there's still a chance to give through the end of the year, so that maybe they forgot to give on November 28th, they can still support your organization in other ways. And also making sure to follow up with those EILGIVE donors specifically for that more personal stewardship. So downloading that donations report in GiveGab, getting their email addresses so you can really follow up with people and thank them in a more personal way. And a great way to do that is actually to highlight the impact of the donor-funded projects that you were raising money for during EILGIVE. So if you do have a very specific project that you're focusing on for this campaign, maybe following up with those donors after the fact. And of course, this doesn't even have to be right away. It can be in a few months. Whenever this project is finished, or even as you're working towards it, sending photos or updates here and there can really make a big difference in building donor trust and getting those supporters on board to support you continually over the course of your relationship. So we talked a lot about all of the resources that you have available to you at your fingertips as a participant in EILGIVE. So I'd really encourage you, if you have not done so already, to check out your nonprofit toolkit. There you'll find customizable email templates and guides for sending out those emails and custom communications, sample social media posts and best practices, so all you have to do is copy, paste, and customize, as well as those EILGIVE downloadable graphics from social media cover photos to that unselfie kit to customizable posters. There's so much in there, so you really don't have to spend a ton of time creating your own content. If you're interested in learning more about a lot of the topics we talked about today, from peer-to-peer fundraising to goal setting to storytelling to board engagement, check out our on-demand training course videos. Every video is about between 15 and 25 minutes, 30 minutes at the most. So they're really quick ways for you to learn more about a specific topic that your organization might want to focus on for EILGIVE 2017. There are also lots of resources in your nonprofit toolkit specifically for board members and peer-to-peer fundraisers. There's even a toolkit specifically for those fundraisers to utilize from an EILGIVE peer-to-peer playbook that you can share out to make getting set up as easy as possible for them. And then, of course, you can always take a look at the blog articles and how-to videos and articles from the GiveGab team, which you can find on EILGIVE.com as well as on GiveGab. And of course, if you ever have any questions or need any assistance getting ready for EILGIVE, please reach out to our customer success team. You can reach out to us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern Time via that little blue chat bubble in the bottom right corner of your screen. We're always happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you do reach out to us when we are not in the office, don't fret, we'll always get back to you the next business day. And in the meantime, you can check out our Help Center, which has plenty of how-to articles and how-to videos and best practices so that you have everything you need to get ready for EILGIVE on Giving Tuesday. And then if you need to ever send us an email, you can do so by reaching out to customersuccess@givegab.com. So just some quick next steps. Make sure to like and follow EILGIVE on social media. They post some really great content, and they'll be sharing out really important updates leading up to and on EILGIVE. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Additionally, check your inbox. They've been sending out a great email series. Maybe go back and review some of those emails they've sent out in the past if you are maybe not sure what to do next. There's so much great content in there for you to utilize. You can check out those on-demand training course videos if you're interested in learning more about any of these topics that we talked about today in a little more detail. And then, of course, I cannot stress this enough, your nonprofit toolkit is your best friend for a giving day. There's so much in there, so maybe take some time today to just look through those resources, get inspired to take your EILGIVE campaign to the next level. All right, we're going to open it up to some questions. We have a bit of time left. So if anyone does have any questions for Vanessa and the GiveGab team, we are happy to answer those for you now. I think there's also a question and answer session coming up, right? Yes. So we'll be having another training, or not training, but a question and answer live Q&A, which you can sign up for on give.com, that trainings page. And there you'll have the GiveGab team, the forefront team, making sure to answer any questions that you have. And that presentation is on November 14th, 1 to 2 Central Time. So if you are interested in getting those final questions answered, I do encourage you to sign up for that Q&A session, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have here. And also make sure to utilize that little blue chat bubble for any of those last-minute questions. I know I always think of my questions right after a presentation is over, so please make sure to reach out to us if you need anything at all.
So we do have one comment from Andrea. Her organization is hosting an open house. That's awesome. One Giving Day in particular really stressed and encouraged their participating nonprofits to have a kickoff event, and it proved to be very successful, not only to gauge the supporters that were invited, but also just to share that happened on social media and just broadcast that effort and that camaraderie around and the support of that organization throughout all the social media networks of those who participated. It's a great way to get the energy around your campaign going and spiked right at midnight. So great. Thank you for sharing that. Are there any other questions?
All right. It doesn't look like we have any other questions right now, but I do encourage you, if you do have questions for us or the forefront team, please reach out to us through that little blue chat bubble, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Someone asked for the link to that nonprofit toolkit. Let me share that with you right now. And then with that, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. We're so excited for another successful EILGIVE on Giving Tuesday. Hold on just a moment. So thanks, and as a reminder, this recording along with other training videos will be available on the training page of EILGIVE.com in a few days. So if you have any questions about today's webinar or anything else related to EILGIVE for Giving Tuesday, again, please use that little blue chat bubble on EILGIVE.com, and we're happy to help you with whatever you need. So thank you all so much again for joining us, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.